Did you know the Amish have been staying cool without AC for centuries? And their secrets could save you money, energy, and maybe even your summer sanity? Hey everyone, I've spent the last week diving deep into forgotten Amish wisdom, watching hours of footage, reading old homesteading journals, and talking to off-grid experts. What I found? Absolutely fascinating. In this video, I'm showing you 25 genius Amish tricks to stay cool in summer. No electricity required. From root cellars that work like free fridges, to sleeping porches under the stars, to fans that run on nothing but wind. These are real life hacks most people have never heard of. So if you're tired of sky-high electric bills or just love clever old-school living, keep watching. And before we dive in, drop a comment. Have you ever tried any Amish-style cooling tricks? Let me know below. Number 1. Root cellars as natural fridges. Long before refrigerators or freezers, people relied on nature to keep their food cool. Enter the root cellar, a simple underground space that acted like a natural fridge. Amish families used these cellars to store vegetables, fruits, and even dairy through the summer heat. These cellars were usually dug into hillsides or under homes. The earth kept the temperature steady, usually between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold enough to slow spoilage, but not so cold that everything froze. It was perfect for storing apples, potatoes, carrots, beets, and even jars of preserves. The thick walls and insulation from the ground helped regulate humidity and temperature. Some had vents to control airflow. This kept mold at bay and kept food fresh for months. Root cellars weren't just practical, they were essential for survival. Without them, summer heat could ruin months of hard work in just days. Even today, this method works. You don't need electricity or fancy equipment, just a little digging and some smart design. Many off-gridders and homesteaders still use them for sustainable food storage. So if you're looking for a way to keep things cool without power, take a page from the Amish playbook. Go old school with a root cellar. It might be the coolest idea you've ever buried. Number 2. Sleeping porches at night. There was a time when summer nights weren't just for fireflies and porch swings. They were for sleep. Amish families often moved their beds outdoors during the hottest months, setting up simple cots or mattresses on open-air porches. It wasn't just about beating the heat, it was about being close to nature. Imagine drifting off under a sky full of stars, with only the sound of crickets and the soft rustle of trees. No buzzing fans, no humming AC units, just peace. Sleeping outside kept them cool because the air moved freely, unlike inside where heat could get trapped. And without walls closing in, there was always a breeze to chase away the warmth. This tradition also brought families closer. Parents and kids would sleep side by side, sharing stories before dozing off. It was quiet, calm, and somehow more connected than modern bedtime routines. Even today, some people bring out hammocks or set up tents in their backyards just for that fresh air feel. If you've ever tried it, you know how deep and restful that kind of sleep can be. So next time the heat won't quit, maybe take a cue from the past. Roll out a mattress, grab a blanket, and let the night tuck you in. Number 3. Wet sheets over windows. Picture this. A simple sheet, soaked in water, draped over a window. Now imagine the breeze blowing through it, turning warm air into something cool and refreshing. That's exactly what the Amish did, and still do, to keep their homes comfortable during summer. It's a basic idea with big results. The water evaporates as air passes through the fabric, lowering the temperature of the incoming air. You don't need fancy gear or power tools. Just a bucket, some water, and an old cotton sheet. Hang it up in front of a window where the wind comes through, and let nature do the rest. This trick works best on dry, hot days when evaporation is most effective. On those sweltering afternoons, a damp sheet could make the difference between sticky heat and a gentle, cooling breeze. Some even used wooden frames to stretch the sheet tightly, making it easier to hang and more effective at catching airflow. It might sound too simple to work, but give it a try. You'll be surprised how much cooler your room feels just by using a wet cloth and a little science. Number 4. Ice blocks in blanket boxes. Now this one might sound like something out of a history book. And that's because it is. But the Amish didn't just store ice for fun. They used it like modern-day ice packs, long before freezers existed. In the winter, large blocks of ice were cut from frozen ponds and stored in insulated sheds or underground ice houses. Then, during the summer, those same blocks were placed inside wooden blanket boxes, thick, heavy chests. Heavy chests designed to hold bedding and keep it warm, or, in this case, cool. By placing a block of ice at the bottom of the box and layering blankets on top, they created a mini cold storage unit. Some even kept milk or butter in there to stay fresh during the heat. It's like an old-school cooler, but made entirely of wood and ice. The idea may seem strange today, but it worked surprisingly well. The dense wood and thick fabric slowed down melting and trapped the cold air inside. If you're curious enough to try it, grab a cooler or wooden chest, add a block of ice, cover it with a towel or blanket, and see how long it stays cold. You might be amazed at how effective it is. No electricity required. Number 5. Light-coloured clothing. Ever notice how wearing black on a sunny day makes you feel like a walking oven? The Amish did. That's why they stuck to light-coloured clothes all summer long. And it wasn't just for style. It turns out science is on their side. Light colours reflect sunlight and heat, while dark shades absorb them like a sponge. So if you're trying to stay cool without AC, your outfit choice actually matters more than you think. Amish men often wore white or tan shirts, and women dressed in soft pastels or plain whites. These weren't fashion statements. They were smart choices for staying comfortable in the heat. You don't have to go full Amish to make this work. Just swap out that black t-shirt for something lighter. A white hat, a beige dress, or even light jeans can make a real difference when the sun won't quit. Even your headgear counts. A straw hat or a pale-coloured cap can keep the sun off your face and help you feel instantly cooler. So next time you're dressing for a hot day, think like the Amish. Lighten up your look. Your body will thank you. Number 6. Hand-fanned beds. Now, this one might make you laugh, but it was real. In some Amish homes, kids would sit by their parents' bed and gently fan them to sleep. Yep, like Yeoman air conditioners with tiny handheld fans. It sounds funny today, but in a world without electricity or AC, it made sense. A little breeze could mean the difference between tossing and turning or actually getting some shut-eye. And get this, some families even had special long-handled fans made for this exact purpose. They weren't just decorative, they were functional, lightweight, and perfect for a slow, steady breeze. Imagine trying that now, asking your kid to fan you to sleep instead of blasting the AC. It might not fly, but hey, it worked for the Amish. The best part? It wasn't just about staying cool, it was a bonding moment. Quiet time, soft whispers, and a gentle breeze created by someone who loves you. Kind of sweet, right? So while we might not be bringing back bedtime fan clubs anytime soon, the idea of creating airflow without electricity, totally worth stealing. Number 7. Shade trees around homes. There's something peaceful about sitting under a tree on a hot summer day. A soft breeze, rustling leaves, and that cool patch of shade right where you need it. For the Amish, planting trees around their homes wasn't just for looks, it was smart living. They knew that a single mature tree could lower the temperature around a home by up to 10 degrees. That's like nature's own air conditioner, quietly doing its job without a single wire or remote. Trees were planted near windows and porches, creating natural shade zones where families could sit, work, or even sleep during the hottest months. The leaves blocked the sun's direct rays, while the roots helped keep the ground cooler. It wasn't just about comfort. It was about working with nature instead of against it. No noise, no power bills, just the gentle hum of life under a canopy of green. Even today, this trick still works. Whether it's an old oak in your backyard or a row of saplings you plant yourself, trees are one of the simplest ways to stay cool when summer turns up the heat. So take a deep breath, lean back, and let the branches do the rest. Number 8. Clay pots for water cooling. Before refrigerators and ice chests, people relied on simple science and clever design to keep their drinks cool. One of the most widely used tools? The clay pot. Amish families, like many ancient cultures, used unglazed clay pots to naturally chill water without electricity. These pots aren't just rustic decor, they're functional cooling devices that work through evaporation. How it works is pretty neat. The porous surface of the clay allows tiny bits of water to seep through. As that water hits the air and evaporates, it pulls heat from the pot and cools the liquid inside. It's the same reason you feel cooler when sweat evaporates off your skin. The result? Water that stays refreshingly cold even on the hottest days. And unlike metal or plastic containers, clay pots don't just store water, they transform it. This method wasn't invented by the Amish, but they embraced it fully, especially during summer when staying hydrated was key. It's a practice seen in India, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America, proving that good ideas travel well across time and borders. So next time you reach for that fridge-cold drink, think about how much simpler it once was. Just water, clay, and a little airflow. Number 9. Nocturnal living, early to bed, early to rise. The Amish didn't just follow the clock, they followed the sun. Long before light switches and late-night scrolling, they lived by a simple rule. When the sun goes down, so do you. And when it rises, you rise with it. This wasn't just tradition, it was survival. By sleeping through the hottest part of the day and waking early, they avoided the worst of the summer heat. It made sense then, and honestly, it still does now. Think about it. Waking up at dawn means you start your day when it's coolest. You get work done, chores handled, and meals cooked before the sun really starts to burn. Then, as temperatures peak, you slow down. Rest, relax, maybe even nap in the shade. It's not laziness, it's wisdom. The Amish understood that fighting the heat only makes you sweat more. Working with nature, that's how you win. And there's another bonus. Better sleep. Cooler nights meant deeper rest, and rising with the sun kept their body clocks in sync with nature. So if you've ever felt sluggish during the day or restless at night, maybe it's time to try something old again. Sync up with the sky, slow down with the heat, and let the sun be your schedule. Number 10. Evaporative cooling with wet towels. You don't need a fancy air conditioner to feel a cool breeze. All you really need is water and air, and maybe a towel or two. That's the idea behind evaporative cooling, a trick the Amish used for generations. Dampen a cloth, hang it near a window or in front of a fan, and let the air do the rest. As the warm air passes through the wet fabric, some of the water turns into vapour, and when that happens, it pulls heat out of the air, making everything around it feel noticeably cooler. It's the same reason you feel chilly after stepping out of the shower or swimming on a hot day. Water evaporation cools your skin, and it can cool a whole room too. Amish families would often hang wet sheets or towels inside their homes during peak heat. Some even placed bowls of water with cloths draped over them to increase surface area and boost cooling power. This isn't magic, it's basic science. But it works surprisingly well, especially in dry, hot climates where humidity isn't high enough to slow down evaporation. So next time you're sweating through the summer, grab a towel, soak it in water, and give nature a chance to chill things out. No plug-in needed. Number 11. Using fans without electricity. You don't need a power outlet to feel a breeze. The Amish knew this well, so they got creative with airflow. Some used hand-cranked fans that spun with just a few quick turns. Others had rope-pulled models mounted on ceilings or walls. A quick tug would send the fan blades spinning, giving instant relief on hot days. But it gets even cooler, literally. Some Amish homes had water-powered fans. These clever setups used gravity-fed streams or running water from a nearby source to turn paddle wheels, which in turn powered the fan. Even simpler? The handheld fan. Made from wood, cloth, or folded paper, these were portable, personal AC units you could carry from room to room, or even out to the fields. It might sound primitive by today's standards, but think about it. No buzzing noise, no energy bill, no tech updates needed. Just movement, airflow, and a little ingenuity. If you're feeling crafty, you can even build your own rope pull fan at home using basic materials. Or grab a palm leaf fan and channel that vintage summer vibe. Either way, staying cool without electricity isn't just possible, it's kind of awesome. Number 12. Cross-ventilation techniques. Cool air in, hot air out. That's the basic idea behind cross-ventilation, and the Amish mastered it long before smart homes and HVAC systems. They designed their houses with airflow in mind. Windows were placed opposite each other, allowing fresh air to enter from one side and hot air to escape from the other. It was like giving your home its own set of lungs. Some even added vents near the ceiling, where heat naturally rises and gets trapped. By opening those vents, they let the hot air escape while cooler air came in from below. It wasn't just about windows and doors. Layout mattered too. Sleeping areas were often on the shady side of the house, while kitchens and workspaces faced the breeze. Every room had a purpose, and every opening had a job. Even barns and sheds were built with airflow in mind. Tall ceilings, open sides, and strategically placed openings helped keep animals and tools cool without using a single wire or switch. You can apply this same logic today. Open a window on the shady side of your home and another on the sunny side. You'll feel the difference almost instantly. Cross-ventilation isn't complicated. It's just smart design meeting natural science. And when done right, it turns your house into its own personal cooling machine. Number 13. Cooking outside to avoid heat indoors. Let's be real. Turning on your stove or oven in the middle of summer is basically asking your house to become a sauna. The Amish knew this, which is why they did most of their cooking outside when the sun started blazing. No one wants to sweat through dinner prep when it already feels like you're being slow roasted by the sun. So instead of cranking up the heat indoors, they fired up outdoor cook stoves, brick ovens, and open fire pits. Imagine baking bread in a cast-iron Dutch oven over hot coals, or simmering a big pot of stew without turning your kitchen into a furnace. Sounds better than melting behind the stove, right? Some Amish families even built separate summer kitchens, small outdoor buildings dedicated entirely to cooking. That way, all the heat stayed outside where it belonged. And honestly, there's something kind of fun about it. It turns meal prep into a backyard event. You get fresh air, natural light, and maybe even some help from the kids, or chickens, depending on where you are. So next time you're dreading turning on the stove, skip the indoor drama and take your cooking al fresco. Your home will thank you, and so will your forehead. Number 14. Cold stone floors. There's nothing quite like the feeling of cool stone under your bare feet on a hot summer day. It's smooth, solid, and instantly soothing, like walking on nature's own ice pack. The Amish knew this well. That's why many of their homes had stone or packed earth floors instead of wood or carpet. These materials absorbed less heat during the day and stayed naturally cooler at night. Step inside an Amish home in the middle of July, and you'd feel the difference right away. The air might be thick, but the floor, refreshingly chilly. Some even said it felt like walking through a cave. Calm, steady, and just cool in every sense of the word. It wasn't just about comfort. It was practical. No need for rugs or AC units when your floor did half the job already. Just kick off your shoes, sit down, maybe even lie back and enjoy the chill rising up from below. You can still use this trick today. Tile, concrete, or even slate floors do the same thing. They pull heat away from your body and keep things naturally balanced. So next time the house feels like an oven, don't reach for the thermostat. Reach for the floor. You might just find your new favourite spot to relax. Number 15. Solar shades from natural materials. When the sun starts beating down on your windows, things can get hot, fast. The Amish knew this, so instead of relying on glass to keep the heat out, they got crafty with natural shades. Think bamboo mats, woven reed screens, or even branches tied together to form a kind of living curtain. These homemade solar shades blocked direct sunlight before it could turn a room into a broiler. Some families used canvas or burlap stretched over wooden frames, creating adjustable blinds that could be moved throughout the day as the sun shifted. Others grew climbing vines over trellises, turning their porches into cool, green hideaways. It wasn't just about staying cool. It was about working with what was already around them. No plastic, no metal, no energy bills, just plants, fabric, and a bit of ingenuity. And here's the bonus. These natural materials absorbed less heat than modern window treatments. Plus, they gave homes a rustic, handmade charm that's hard to beat. You can try this today with a few simple changes. Hang a light-coloured cloth over a sunny window, set up a bamboo screen on your patio, or plant a shade tree near your home's hottest side. It's an old trick, but one that still makes perfect sense. After all, why fight the sun when you can simply shade it off? Number 16. Keeping animals outdoors. You know what adds heat to a house fast? A barn full of cows. Inside your living room. Yeah, not ideal. The Amish figured this out early. Animals generate body heat, and in the summer, the last place you want them is under your roof. So whether it was cows, chickens, goats, or pigs, they stayed outside where they belonged. It wasn't just about keeping things cool, it was about basic farm sense. Think about how warm your dog feels when you hug them on a hot day. Now multiply that by 10 with a full-grown cow. That's a lot of extra warmth you don't need indoors. So instead of turning their homes into saunas with hooves, they built well-ventilated barns and coops outside. Some even placed them downwind from the house to keep smells and heat away from living areas. And honestly, it works. If you've ever walked into a barn on a summer afternoon, you already know it can feel like stepping into an oven. Now imagine that inside your kitchen. Of course, pets were sometimes an exception, especially if they were small, fluffy, and good at stealing hearts and couch space. But for the most part, if it could walk, fly, or graze, it stayed outdoors during the heat. So next time you're sweating through the summer, remember this simple rule from the Amish playbook. Animals are better off chilling outside, unless they're really good at fanning you with their ears. Number 17. Damp cloths on the neck. There's something instantly soothing about a cool, damp cloth on your skin when the heat just won't quit. And the Amish knew exactly where to place it, right on the neck. Why the neck? Because that's where some of your body's main blood vessels run close to the surface. Press something cool there, and your body reacts fast, sending that chill through your system like a natural AC blast. They'd soak a small towel or handkerchief in cool water, wring it out and drape it gently over the back of their neck or across their forehead. Instant relief. No plugs, no remotes, just instant comfort. it wasn't just for lounging either. This trick came in handy during long days of work, gardening, or even church services held in warm meeting halls. A quick refresh with a damp cloth could make all the difference between flagging energy and staying strong. Some even tucked wet cloths behind their ears or under their wrists for extra cooling power. It was simple, personal, and effective. You can try it today too. Just grab a washcloth, dunk it in cold water, and press it to your neck while relaxing in a chair or lying down. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and let your body do the rest. Sometimes, the best summer survival tools aren't gadgets. They're moments. Small, quiet, and refreshingly cool. Number 8. Insulated curtains and rugs. There's something about walking into a cool, quiet room on a hot summer day that just feels like a hug from your house. And the Amish knew how to make that happen. Not with fancy tech, but with curtains, rugs, and good old-fashioned comfort. Thick, heavy curtains weren't just for privacy. They were natural insulators. By closing them during the hottest part of the day, they blocked out sunlight and trapped cooler air inside. Some families even made their own layered curtains using wool or flannel, which held in coolness better than thin fabrics. And it wasn't just windows that got the cosy treatment. Rugs on the floor helped too. They acted like a barrier, keeping cold air from seeping up through stone or tile floors, while also adding a soft, warm feel underfoot. Together, these two simple items created a kind of homemade climate control system. Curtains kept the heat out, rugs kept the cool in, and suddenly, the inside of the house felt like a little escape from the summer sun. You can try this at home without sewing a single stitch. Grab some thick drapes, roll out a rug or two, and notice how much more comfortable your space feels. It's not about being fancy. It's about feeling good, and sometimes all it takes is a curtain closed, a rug laid down, and a moment to breathe in the cool. Number 19. Outdoor showers in shade. Imagine stepping outside, peeling off the day's sweat-soaked clothes, and standing under a cool stream of water. All while surrounded by trees, fresh air, and nothing but the sound of nature. That's exactly what the Amish did during summer. An outdoor shower wasn't just practical. It was refreshing, freeing, and kind of magical. Set up in a shaded area, these simple showers were often made from metal or wooden tanks that sat in the sun, heating water for a warm rinse, or placed under shade trees to keep the water cooler for a true cold blast. No fancy plumbing, no complicated setup. Just a bucket, a hose, or a gravity-fed tank that let water flow when you pulled a string or turned a knob. And honestly, it felt amazing. A quick rinse under an open sky, with a breeze drying your skin and the heat melting away. Some families even built small enclosures out of canvas or wood for privacy, turning their backyard into a mini oasis. Kids loved them, adults appreciated them, and everyone stayed clean and cool without using a single drop of indoor water pressure. You don't need a full homestead to try this. Even a portable camping shower or a garden hose with a handheld nozzle can give you that same burst of summer relief. So next time the heat gets too much, skip the bathroom and take your shower outside. Let the sky be your ceiling and the wind be your towel. It might just become your favourite part of the day. Number 20. Homemade ice. Using saltwater tone, sciencey and fun. Who needs a freezer when you've got physics on your side? The Amish didn't just store winter ice for summer. Sometimes they made their own using salt water and the right conditions. It all comes down to one cool fact. Salt lowers the freezing point of water. That means salt water can get colder than regular water before it turns to ice. So if temperatures dropped just below freezing, not super cold but chilly enough, Amish families would pour salt water into shallow metal trays or glass jars and leave them outside overnight. By morning, they'd have slushy or even solid ice, perfect for chilling drinks or keeping food cool in insulated boxes. This trick worked best in early spring or late fall when nights were still cold, but days weren't fully warm yet. It was like cheating winter, squeezing a few more uses out of the cold before summer rolled in. And here's the fun part. You can try this at home. Grab 2 bowls, one with ice water and one with plain water. Add some salt to one, stir it up, and see which one freezes first. No need for fancy tools or power. Just a dash of salt, a bit of patience, and a cool night can turn liquid into ice the old-fashioned way. So next time you're stuck without AC, remember, the Amish turned salt water into summer ice long before freezers ever hit the scene. Number 21. Breezeways. Between buildings, ever walked through a narrow alley and suddenly caught a gust of wind out of nowhere? That's basically what an Amish breezeway does, only on purpose and with style. Amish homes and farm buildings weren't just placed randomly. They were arranged to work with the land and the wind. And one smart trick they used was the breezeway, a covered, open-sided passageway connecting 2 structures or left open between them. This wasn't just for convenience, it was for cooling. The narrow space acted like a natural air tunnel, funneling wind through the gap and creating airflow that cooled both buildings at once. It's the same science behind those old desert wind towers. Cool air gets pulled in, warm air gets pushed out, all without a fan, a vent, or a single electric part. Some families even added adjustable shutters or flaps to control the flow, letting them direct the breeze exactly where it was needed most, near sleeping areas, kitchens, or gathering spaces. It wasn't magic. It was architecture meeting nature head-on. And when done right, a breezeway could drop the temperature around the home by several degrees, just by using space and air. You can try this on a smaller scale today. Arrange your outdoor seating or workspace in a natural wind path, or build a simple open-air walkway between sheds or porches. Sometimes, staying cool isn't about fighting the heat. It's about guiding the breeze. Number 22. Lightweight mattresses. There's nothing worse than waking up sweaty, tangled in sheets, and feeling like you've slept inside a toaster oven. The Amish knew this, which is why they never went for thick, heavy mattresses that trap heat. Instead, they used lightweight cotton-filled or straw-stuffed mattresses that breathed well and stayed cool through the night. These weren't memory foam clouds. They were simple, firm, and made for summer sleep. Because here's the thing. Heavier materials hold onto body heat. Foam, latex, and even thick feather beds can make you sweat without you even realizing it. But a thin, breathable mattress? It lets air move, keeps you dry, and helps you stay comfortable from dusk till dawn. Amish beds often had just a thin layer of padding over wooden slats or woven ropes, allowing for maximum airflow. Some even switched out thicker bedding in the summer for lighter blankets and thinner covers. It wasn't about luxury, it was about rest. A good night's sleep meant being able to work hard the next day, and staying cool while you slept made all the difference. You don't have to go full Amish to try this. Just swap out your thick comforter for a light sheet, use a breathable pillow, or invest in a natural fibre mattress pad. Sometimes, the secret to sleeping cool isn't about cranking the AC. It's about what's underneath you. Number 23. Wind catchers on roofs. Technical, but fascinating. You might not notice them at first, but if you peek at the rooftops of Amish homes, you'll sometimes spot an unusual structure. A tall, chimney-like tower pointing into the wind. That's a wind catcher, and it's like ancient HVAC without the wires. This clever design wasn't just for looks, it had a job to do. The tower caught passing breezes and funneled them down into the house, pushing cool air through hallways, rooms, and even basements. It worked on a simple principle. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure. When wind hits the tall side of the wind catcher, it gets forced inside. That creates airflow, pulling hot air out through other openings like windows or vents. Some Amish families even built adjustable caps on top so they could rotate the direction of the catcher depending on where the wind was coming from. It's like having a rooftop fan that never needs plugging in. And here's the best part. It didn't just bring in cool air. It also helped with ventilation, reducing humidity, and keeping things fresh during summer's sticky days. You don't see these much anymore, but the idea lives on in modern passive cooling systems. Even today, architects borrow from this centuries-old trick to keep buildings comfortable without relying on AC. So next time you're sweating indoors, remember, the Amish had their heads in the clouds and their homes in the breeze. Number 24. Using basements as cooling zones. Logical and strategic. If you've ever walked into a basement during summer, you know the feeling. It's like stepping into a fridge. The Amish did more than just store potatoes down there. They used basements as natural cooling zones for food, tools, and even rest. Why do basements stay so cool? Because the earth insulates them. Just a few feet underground, temperatures remain steady year-round, usually between 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That means no wild heat spikes, no sudden cold drops. Just consistent, usable coolness. Amish families stored perishables like milk, butter, and root vegetables in basement corners where it stayed naturally chilled. Some even set up small seating areas or sleeping spots when the upstairs became unbearable. It wasn't just about comfort, it was strategy. By planning their homes with accessible basements, they had a built-in way to beat the heat without wasting energy or resources. Even today, this trick works. If your home has a basement, use it. Store drinks, snacks, or even move your downtime downstairs when the sun won't quit. You don't need fancy gear or solar panels. Just gravity, dirt, and a little common sense. And sometimes that's the best kind of air conditioning there is. Number 25. Eating cooler foods. Like cucumbers. Nutritional and are funny. Want to stay cool from the inside out? Then maybe skip the chili and grab a cucumber, or some watermelon, celery, or tomatoes. The Amish knew that what you eat affects how you feel, especially when the sun's blazing. So during summer, they leaned into foods with high water content that not only kept them hydrated, but also helped lower their body temperature naturally. Cucumbers, for example, are over 95% water. Take a bite, and you're basically crunching on nature's own ice cube. Watermelon? Even juicier. One slice and you'll feel like you just took a dip in a lake. These weren't just farm-fresh snacks. They were built-in cooling systems. Noisy, refreshing, and sometimes messy. But hey, anything beats sweating through your clothes. And here's the funny part. While we reach for popsicles and slushies, the Amish were already ahead of the game with real food that chilled them out. Literally. So next time you're battling the heat, think like an Amish farmer. Eat your AC instead of turning it on. Your fridge will thank you, your wallet will thank you, and your body might even give you a high five. Who knew staying cool could be so crunchy? And there you have it. 25 Amish secrets that prove you don't need modern tech to stay cool. Whether you live off-grid or just want to save on your electric bill, these hacks are gold. So, which one are you going to try first? Drop your pick in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're staying cool this summer. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more summer survival tips coming daily.